All right. Good morning, folks. Look, I have to tell you this right now. We have a lot on the docket. There's a lot to talk about today. And, folks, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if we're going to have enough time to do it all. We are going to talk about Ukraine almost starting World War III. And quite frankly, we might still be there. And actually, if it wasn't for Lindsey Graham, we may already have started World War III as new information has come out about something he did, which, by the way, surprises me because Lindsey Graham has always felt kind of hawkish to me. But in this particular context, the man gets a little bit of credit. We might have some time to talk about that. He always loved Israel. That's something I can
and
attest
Ukraine,
to.
by the way.
Yep.
And I can say I saw the picture of Zelensky and Netanyahu sitting together on the same bench at the funeral.
See, now that bothers me. That bothers me. Because if Zelensky is sitting on the bench with Netanyahu
At the funeral.
then we may have... Because, look, I just want to say this really quickly, and then we'll go on to some of the other subjects we're going to talk about. Most people will never know how close to World War III we came in the last week and a half. Okay? Russia had to have used some pretty incredible restraint, especially if Netanyahu is spending time talking to Zelensky. I got a lot to say about that. We're gonna talk about that. The other thing we're gonna talk about.
By the way, let me add on.
Yep.
Zelensky, Netanyahu, and Marco Rubio actually met at the funeral and had a couple of words exchanged.
Okay, so I would expect Marco Rubio to have a comment with all of them, but were they together? It was a conversation they were having together?
I saw a picture of them talking to each other. What was said, not maybe officially, not an official talk, but they did meet at the funeral.
Okay, so we have that. We have Bibi at the White House. That is no small issue that we have to talk about. He was with the president for an hour and a half in the Oval Office, and there was no press conference, no pictures, no notes released, no anything. That means there's a plan.
Well, yeah, and again, go back to that. The way it happened was Trump said, Bibi, come over. Like that, literally. Said, Bibi, you better get over here. He came over. He kind of snuck in the back door to the White House. They talked. Went to the funeral of Lindsey Graham and got back on the plane and kind of flew out. So something is happening, yes.
I'm telling you, there is something that's happening. There's a lot of speculation involved. Gadi Taub had an interesting idea on this. We'll have to talk about that in a little bit. And then we have to talk about some of the other things that have been happening that, quite frankly, should be shocking, but I guess they're not necessarily so shocking. There is a new residual effect that has come. Let me just say this. I'm not going to say residual. I'm going to say there's a new derivative that has come as a result of what happened with Kuwait and Bahrain.
Okay.
It's a very interesting thing now.
I hear
because
you.
now there is a new phrase being thrown around. It's called the Middle Eastern or Islamic NATO. That's what they're calling it.
No, I've been hearing that for years.
No. But I'm telling you right now, it's never been thrown around in a way where it seems viable more than it is now. And what's new about what I'm hearing, Islamic NATO, is that they are looking at possibly calling the Islamic NATO the Abraham Accords. Now, that's weird. And I'll tell you why that's weird. Because if the new Islamic NATO is the Abraham Accords,
then what happens to the old Abraham Accords?
Yeah, there's an embracing of Judeo-Christianity. There's an embracing of Judaism. And there has to be somewhat of a repudiation of Turkey. I don't know how that's going to work. Turkey and Syria.
Okay.
So this is going to be a complicated conversation. Very complicated. I don't know the depth of where that one is going to go. There's a lot of discussion there.
I heard that Saudi Arabia is starting to play and mention President Trump mentioned MBS the other day, saying that he's kind of listening to counsel from the MBS. But again, they are making it clear that they don't want the United States to hit Iran.
Well, here's the thing that I think is really interesting. Is that Saudi Arabia really doing that because it needs more time to protect its salination plants? Or are we looking at something completely different? Because Saudi Arabia, for the most part, has wanted Iran and all of its proxies to be done for a very long time. So what's happened that Saudi Arabia is beginning to do that?
I think they are, and here's what I'm hearing. They are feeling that President Trump doesn't or can't or won't or shouldn't or couldn't, whatever you want to call it, to take on Iran heads on.
That's viable. That's a viable thought. It really is.
And as a result of that, they're hedging their bets, and they're trying to kind of dance the dance with a different kind of music.
That's kind of a scary thought. There's a lot to talk about there because there's a real possibility that might indeed be the case. I think the president prior to the midterms isn't willing to expend that kind of capital. But my thought process here is that it's better that he does that now than wait until Iran does what they're going to do in October, because I can promise you Iran will do something that will force the hand of the United States of America in October, the IRGC specifically, and I would rather that we deal with it now, let oil prices stabilize before the midterms, and then go back to the midterms. I would rather that we basically take every island we can possibly take right now.
Amen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, I lean towards it not happening, but I don't know if the president really wants to gamble with the midterms that way. I think the greatest gamble on the midterms is to wait until we get an October surprise, and we will get one.
Iran is going to do something. We know that. And I'm going to add on another layer to that one. You know what happens a week and a half before the midterms?
Oh, yeah.
The Israeli elections.
Oh, yeah.
Now, think about this. Think about this, and this is a scenario that's been running around Israeli
press. Is it a week and a half? I thought it was like 4 days or something like that.
Or something like that. I mean, when's the midterms?
Yeah, November the 3rd, I believe it is.
Okay, there you go. So our election is October 27th.
Yeah. Oh, so you're right. No, it's a week.
It's a week. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about this. Israel is in the polls. Okay, it's a day off, and, all the polling stations are all this. And think about Iran firing missiles at Israel on that day. I'm
telling you.
I mean, this is the Israel News is full of how do we take care of the ballots when the sirens go off. There's special boxes where they pour all of the ballots in that, and it's like an armored box. Listen to this, an armored ballot box, in order to make sure that the integrity of the election stays clear, even when people are running off to the bomb shelter.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the absurdity of that. Now, that would actually light a whole bonfire in the whole Middle East, because Israel is going to retaliate to something like that, like boom. Now, think about that happening a week before the midterms.
Yeah, this is very tricky. All of this is very, very tricky.
Yeah.
And I think right now the best option that the president has he's got to act.
Or not. I mean, it seems like he's playing patty cake. It seems like it. I mean, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him, and then I don't. And I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him, and then I don't. There's becoming a routine on this.
I think he's buying time. I think he's buying time to do the
after
setup
the midterms.
To do the setup that he actually wants to do. I don't think it's a delay to midterms anymore. By the way, Dean, thank you for the reminder. I almost didn't look at it till you said something. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. There's some serious speculation involved in that. They have to do something. I'm sorry.
Will he?
How are you gonna?
Is he going to do it before the midterms? He's got a month. When are the midterms?
My thoughts, and again, I just want to say this because I don't have the president's intelligence, right? He has a lot of intelligence that's come to him from the intelligence community, so he knows much better what's going on than any of us do. Okay? He sees a lot more than all of us do.
But
my thought process is, I don't see a scenario by which he can afford to do it, unless for some miraculous reason, midterms go on without a hitch. We get more Republicans in office, and then he's going to just carpet bomb the snot out of Iran.
That would be one option. What do you know about the polls? I mean, what does a midterm say? It seems to me like it's touch
a
and
mixed
go.
bag. You're right. It's touch and go. It's a mixed bag. I think there's more surety in Israel regarding Bibi than there is regarding the Republicans.
You want to open up that can of worms? Because
Bro, that's an ugly can of worms.
Because Eisenkot is neck to neck with Bibi as far as the polls are concerned right now.
I'm going to ask you this question. I know what Gaddy's view on it is. I think I tend to agree with him. The Eisenkot issue is more of a dramatic misreporting and a flash by the media to get people to think that he's more ahead than he actually is. And I actually think that could backfire.
That's always
because I think it will mobilize much younger people to go out there and vote for Bibi.
Okay, let's start off. That's always been true, and always the underdog gets overrepresented in the polls. We see that in our elections too, and that always happens. I mean, look at what happened in the Trump elections in the last election cycle. But I think something else is happening. Okay, and this is why I am a little bit worried about this. Eisenkot is going to be a solution for the BDS. That's the Bibi derangement syndrome people.
It's ridiculous.
And he is considered not left wing, not woke.
Give me a break. How in the world can he not be considered left wing or woke? He doesn't have a single good idea.
Well, he had some good ideas in Lebanon back then, but that's another story whatsoever. But here's the thing. He does have enough of the military aura. He lost his son in this war, which I know it sounds weird to say it, but plays a part in his kind of respectability, for lack of a better word. And he was a chief of staff. So he's got that where people who are leaning left, that are not left, might vote for him, and the BDS people are BDS people.
He won't even be able to form a coalition.
Well,
the Knesset will fall apart before it even starts if they vote for him, bro.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are hoping and expecting that if it's close enough, that him and Bibi will create a joint coalition.
How will that work?
It has worked in the past, okay? And I think, okay, that a coalition between Eisenkot and Bibi will create the core where they don't need the Datiim, and that's the main issue, the religious. And that's one of the issues that are on the table right now. Think about Eisenkot, Bibi, Lieberman, okay?
Well, that's a whole other... Yeah,
I mean, there you have a center core.
But that's going to muddy the water, bro. We all know that's going to muddy the water.
I
How is
like
he going to hold? No, it's not that. It's not whether or not you like Lieberman or not. It's about whether or not the coalition that they're proposing will hold. The people, the strength that Lieberman would bring, with what he would bring for the coalition, doesn't get along with the strength that Bibi brings. There's a lot of people affiliated right now with Likud that wouldn't even want to, they would rather work with religious right.
Okay.
Some of them would rather work with Ram than Lieberman's
The religious right is becoming a problem, and the more than anything, the Orthodox issue is becoming a serious issue in the Israeli.
It's been a serious issue. October 7th made it 10 times worse.
Okay, so here's the thing. That kind of coalition government in Israel could solve the problem without the religious element.
But do the people think that way, bro? That's the problem. I don't think they think that way. I think there's too many constituents, especially in Likud, where we might end up seeing the same kind of dynamic that we saw with what's his name, Mr. Liar,
with Lapid.
With Lapid, yeah, Lapid. We're going to see another backstabber who's going to say, I've got the answer, and he's going to split the coalition up. And then we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
So here's the thing. And again, if you look back at Israeli politics, every cycle, there's been a version of this. I don't know if you remember Rafael Eitan.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember Benny Gantz went through this.
Oh, Benny Gantz. Explain the Benny Gantz.
Benny Gantz was also a chief of staff, and he came up in one of the election cycles.
I remember this.
And he was polling together with Bibi with the Likud in the polls.
And he was punching the speaker in the face at the time, if I remember.
Something was going on.
I remember that. Yeah.
Again, we have these cycles of strong kind of handlers that appease the not Bibi crowd that actually fade into the backdrop very quickly. And again, this is the dynamic. I still think that the only possible coalition in Israel is Likud and Datiim and religious, and then from there whoever else kind of connects.
I mean, it looks like it's the only viable path. And I think Bibi knows that. And I also think that Bibi is working very hard to show people what's obvious, and that is the fact that him and Trump have a great relationship, to the point where Trump actually says that Israel, he just said this in one of the recent interviews, he said that Israel has to have Bibi at the helm.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they have to have Bibi at the helm because he is a tried and true wartime prime minister.
So that is how all of these politics play out. And again, Iran is much more important in this dynamic than a lot of people. I mean, Iran could decide the elections.
That's
terrible.
It's so true.
You
it's terrible,
send a couple of missiles over Israel
before
or during the election cycle, and you've got a role to play. And again,
I don't disagree with you. I think you're right.
The thing is this: if he does, if they do, they're going to give Bibi the election. Because Bibi is seen as the war prime minister. So I think Iran is being quiet right now. And I think that's one of the reasons that in these last cycles with the United States, Iran has stayed out of Israel. And Hezbollah has stayed out of Israel because anything that they do will give Bibi more power, not less.
Yeah, I think there's a greater dynamic involved with why Iran is not hitting Israel. I think the IRGC is refraining from hitting Israel because I think the next step, and I think it's closer than anybody thinks, is that there's going to be Israeli boots on the ground in Israel. In Iran. I actually think
Israeli boots on the ground.
Israeli boots on the ground in Iran. And I actually think that was the meeting that took place between Bibi and the president. I think there was some planning like that. I think it was Bibi saying, We'll put our boots on the ground if you'll offer us aerial support.
Yep. Everybody's talking about that's what was on the table. And when Trump said, I don't need you to tell me what to do with Pickaxe Mountain, he is basically saying, okay, I know what needs to be done. I don't need you to do this. He actually closed off that option before the meeting because Bibi came with the, the blueprints for that dynamic already there. We haven't talked about the Kurds in a while, but there's kind of a feeling that they're not completely off the table.
So, what?
I heard that yesterday.
This is the first. I haven't heard. I
heard that yesterday, and it came across a couple of the Israeli feeds that they're actually Kurds that are getting ready to be the final blow. But what Israel is saying is that the Kurds are willing to be the final blow. They're not willing to be the first blow.
Interesting.
So it's the whole dynamic is who's going to walk out first. It's the whole.
I know the Kurds hate the Iraqis. The Iranians. I know they hate them. But well, that's the first that I heard.
So the Kurds are ready, but they just don't know they don't want to be. So here's the thing. If Israel, and I'm going to say something that I think is very clear. If Israel and Iran in the United States had hurt Iran more, then I think more of the Arab states would have connected to this. The fact that there is this uncertainty about what's going on, okay, the Arabs are Arabs. They're going to wait. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, they're going to wait to see what's happening.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they're going to get on the bandwagon after it's happening.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia has more to lose than anybody in the Middle East, but they're not willing to put their boots and their blood and their economy and their assets on the table. They're not willing. They're waiting for the United States and America to do it. And they have no qualms with saying to the United States, okay, if you're not going to do it, then we're not going to help you because we don't want to pay the price.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not forgetting that they closed off American bases in America and their American bases on their territory and their airspace to being used by the United States of America. Now, maybe they just said it and it didn't really happen, but they were publicly against this.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can't help but segue into another country that refused to use American bases or to use for the Americans to use their bases or to fly over their airspace on the way to the Gulf, and now is being smacked all over the world. They're called Spain.
Yeah, well, Spain is a big fat mess that we're going to have to dedicate a few minutes of time to talk to.
Okay.
But before we get onto
James,
Spain,
look how it all
I know,
connects.
I know.
And I want to say something to everybody listening and watching us. The connection between all of these different elements, the connection between all of these dynamics, like the Bible said, is Israel.
No, listen.
You can't help.
I could not agree with you more. The Spain thing deserves a good conversation because the leader of Spain is a Satan worshiper. But before we even get into that, I mean, he's evil. Like, he's evil. Okay? But before we get into that, I came across an article. Matter of fact, I recorded a video on it yesterday.
Whoa.
The video is going to get released next week. But the article was on Zero Hedge. And the title of the article is very interesting, okay? And it spent a lot of time talking about Mohammed bin Salman for a lot of different reasons. But the title of the article is Saudi Arabia has 5 points of leverage over the U.S. I think that it was remarkably well written. Listen to the 5 points of leverage that it talks about, okay? Indirectly projecting U.S. influence across the Ummah. That's a given. Saudi Arabia has been the window for that. I'm looking at the article right here.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia has been the window for that, right? They're the waqf for the two holy mosques that they talk about. I mean, they have been a powerful arm for the United States of America for projection, okay? But that is an advantage that they have over the U.S. Here's the second thing.
Let me explain that a little bit, just to put it together in some kind of dynamic. Okay?
And I do talk about it in my video. But
Saudi Arabia is the Muslim version of the Vatican, if you want to put it that way.
It's true.
And people, for the Catholic world, the Vatican holds political and prestige, and Saudi Arabia is to a certain extent for the millions of Muslims around, or a lot of the millions of Muslims, mostly the Sunni. Okay, definitely not the Shiites, but even for the Shiites, okay, even if you are a militant Shiite, Saudi Arabia has control over the holy places.
Yes.
So again, you can argue what you want, but there is an element that is close to what the Pope carries when you talk about Saudi Arabia, and people need to understand that kind of influence.
And let me just simply say this. Saudi Arabia is also asking for the guardianship of the Temple Mount. And they want that so they can simply hand it over to Israel because of their view concerning it. So they're indirectly projecting U.S. influence across the Ummah. That's a big one, by the way. Because if the United States didn't have Saudi Arabia, there would be no influence that we would have in the Islamic world. Very little. Okay, number one. Number two, investing hundreds of billions of dollars into the United States economy. That's a big one. The discussion on that, by the way, is remarkable because we've never had a single country invest what will amount to be close to $2 trillion over 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
It's an impossibility, okay? Let me mute this for 1 second.
By the way, I'm curious to know if that investment will stay in place if the midterms change and if the government after the next election is not as pro-Saudi Arabia.
Well, that's the crazy thing. It has to stay in place because a lot of the purchases have been executed. $142 billion of the $600 billion that was initially promised was put into the military-industrial complex. That means that Saudi Arabia technically is the largest buyer in American history of American arms. They have never purchased, no country has ever purchased more arms from the United States of America than Saudi Arabia.
By the way, not only arms, these are jobs in the United States.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot.
This is industries in the United States. These are technologies in the United States. I mean,
Saudi Arabia is the United States' largest client. And listen to this, the third largest importer in the world. Okay? So if you think about this, what they're doing, and then this is interesting, and I like the point that they put here, Saudi Arabia is serving as the core of the Islamic NATO. This goes back to the picture of where we're talking about them becoming the person who brings the Abraham Accords together as they come in. That's one thing. But the other one that they are standing as gatekeepers to is that they are preventing the petro-yuan instead of the petrodollar, which, by the way, let me just simply say this about that particular issue. Saudi Arabia and the invention of the term the petrodollar is a very, very complex discussion. It's not about the U.S. dollar being used to buy energy resources. It has everything to do with the illegality of Saudi Arabia to buy certain assets or sell certain assets to the United States of America, most of which relate to U.S. treasuries. It's a very complicated issue. Very, very complicated. So, but nonetheless, they are the gatekeepers. They are keeping BRICS out. That's major.
When they say BRICS, okay, BRICS is Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil, Russia. My brain is fried. India, China. I think North Korea is now a new member.
North Korea.
I think they're talking about it now. They're talking about a new member. Brazil. There's one other major player.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
I'm looking it up.
Right now there's like 18 BRICS countries. I'm almost certain. Let me see here. I'll look it up right now.
Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa.
South Africa, thank you. South Africa. But there's many more member countries
it's expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, and the UAE. That's interesting.
They're talking about South Korea. Or North Korea. But let me just simply say this. That whole issue is about to fall apart. And it's about to fall apart because of Iran's membership and because of the UAE's membership into BRICS. Because remember, oh gosh, we don't have the time to talk about this. But remember the biggest change to the energy sector in the Middle East was the UAE walking away from OPEC. Okay? That's the biggest thing. So the UAE, it's only a matter of time before the UAE says we're out of BRICS. Because BRICS is going to seek to do the same thing that the UAE objected to OPEC doing. But BRICS has to hold a more prominent position in the energy sector, which they don't right now.
Okay, you
so
ready?
It's a whole other issue.
You ready for me to push a button?
Oh.
What have we not mentioned in all of this whole discussion? Who have we not mentioned? And why have we not mentioned that? And that's going to segue into the next issue that you want to talk about.
So that's a loaded question.
Yeah, Turkey.
Okay. I didn't even think of Turkey because we did mention Turkey briefly, but that's a big deal.
I mean, we're talking BRICS.
We're talking
about this. We're talking all of this.
That's a big deal.
Why is Turkey so quiet?
Turkey is quiet for the same reason that Russia is being quiet, because they are looking to see how the alliances are playing out. They are both in good standing with the president of the United States. Believe it or not, Putin is in good standing with the president.
President likes strong people.
It's hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me. But Erdogan is playing the game smart. Erdogan's no idiot. He knows Turkey cannot be active militaristically speaking. He knows it. He's not even messing with northern Cyprus.
The whole maneuver that we're talking about, I haven't heard anything. All of this. I mean, you're talking about a Islamic NATO, and you want to tell me that Turkey's not going to be mixed into this in some way?
No, Islamic NATO Turkey's a massive part of it. That's always been.
But they've been very, very quiet. Very quiet.
I tell you what you want to do. There's two areas you always look at when you're concerned about what Turkey is doing. And if they're quiet in both of those areas, then it gets really scary. Okay? The first area they're extremely quiet in right now is Syria. As a matter of fact, Syria is very quiet right now.
Totally.
It's kind of shocking in a way. The second area that's very, very quiet is northern Cyprus. And northern Cyprus is this little strip that Turkey is very active in militaristically speaking. It's a staging area for them.
By the way, I'm going to mix something together. Again, I'm the Balagan connection. Let's make this clear. But what is northern Cyprus is for Turkey, meaning it's Turkey control over a part of a nation that was not on its borders and not part of the Turkish. Northern Cyprus for Turkey is what these enclaves are for Spain.
Oh, 100%. That's a great parallel, actually. That's a really, really, really good parallel.
I mean, think about that. What's the name of the enclaves? I don't remember. What Malot and
I'll get it. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
It'll come to my brain. You know what? I just look it up. But you're right. Oh gosh. We were just having a conversation about this because we were talking about Tarshish recently, and we were just having a conversation about this.
Suta.
Yeah.
Ceuta is the way they say it.
Yeah.
And Melilla.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Are the two Spanish enclaves on the African or the North African shores of the Mediterranean.
The bridge, in essence. It's the bridge, which, by the way, it's so interesting because we're talking about all these territories that are on the North African coast. Like, we need to just understand that Morocco exploited them.
Meaning
a lot of what happened in Spain has everything to do with the standing that Morocco, that Israel, okay, I'm going to get complicated here, that Israel has with Morocco. The support and the friendship that Israel has with Morocco. Western Sahara.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
But before we go that, because we're going to have to go deep, and I need to explain a couple of things. I want to add on one more thing about this. Right. All the people yelling about occupation territories, northern Cyprus, occupied by
Turkey.
These Soweto and Melilla, occupied by Spain. You want me to give you another occupied territory that's been occupied? Gibraltar.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on.
I mean, literally.
Give me a break.
Gibraltar is occupied territory, occupied by the UK, by the British. I mean, and everybody's yelling occupied, but they're all occupiers.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
And the hypocrisy of that is so amazing. But I want to tie together the context of that because, we're talking about the Persian Gulf with the Strait of Hormuz.
Yep.
We're talking about the Houthis in Yemen with the Bab el-Mandeb. Yep. And now we're talking about the Strait of Gibraltar, which are another choke point. Those are the three major choke points, maybe besides the Malaga Strait.
Well, the Mediterranean Gateway, which is the area that he just introduced, that could be more dangerous than either one of Hormuz. It could be more dangerous than the disputed Suez area. It could be more disputed than it could be more dangerous than the Sinai, and certainly more dangerous than Bab el-Mandeb. Because all of these areas, think about it like this: the Strait of Hormuz, Bab el-Mandeb, the Suez, those are all gateways into the Mediterranean because all these people want to go. Look, all these people want to go into the Mediterranean because it's the easiest way out to the Atlantic.
That's the way the goods move. That's the way the oil moves. That's where everything moves.
So there's no way on God's green earth that Britain would be stupid enough to create a condition by which one of its, most famous colonies, for lack of a better term, ends up getting smashed like that. I mean, this prime minister, I mean, he could be that stupid.
No, okay, so think about this. I mean, again, you don't have to have a map in your head. But if Iran can morally, politically, economically, and whatever you want, geopolitically, say we have a right to close off the Strait of Hormuz, then Morocco has the same moral, political right to say we have the right to close off the Strait of Gibraltar.
Yuck.
Did you understand what just tied together?
Yuck.
And when you tie those together, now what you see that's happening in Morocco. Morocco's flexing its muscles right now. And what we saw this week was a flex of a Moroccan muscle. And that's the whole immigrants. And again, this is complicated. Do we want to go into the whole Spanish Moroccan thing?
We have to. Because
or do you want to finish off? Do you want to finish off the Gulf first?
Let's do that. Let's finish off the Gulf because we still haven't talked about the Caspian yet, and we got to talk about the Caspian. We have to.
By the way, I'm curious to know, and if you can put a comment there, are you guys kind of with us on all of this? I mean,
yeah, there's a lot. This is we're digging kind of nasty.
We're kind of bouncing hard here and again. If you want to understand the Middle East, this is how to do it. And I'm going to say one more thing to add on, and as a cover to all of this. Listen, this is all biblical. Everything that we're talking about the world diplomatic, political mechanisms to a biblical process that is actually playing out. And maybe we can tie that together at some point at the end.
Yeah, there's so much here. I've heard some people kind of put us down and go, I thought this was a Christian show. Look, it's very Christian. Okay. I mean, all of the geopolitical analysis that we're offering is super relevant to what we understand in the biblical prophetic narrative. They all, the better you understand Bible prophecy, the more sense all of this is going to make to you. And I think that's just really, really important.
The way my dad used to say, though, is that these are the fingers of God meddling in the affairs of men in the world.
100%.
And God uses geopolitical fingers. He uses military fingers. He uses economic fingers. He uses social media fingers. Again, all of this. But it makes so much sense when you understand the mechanisms, how all of this is moving in God's direction. And again, I find it fascinating that we can sit here and look at all these different manipulations and say, yeah, this is what God was planning all along.
Yeah. And by the way, I know that there's people commenting on me calling the leader of Spain a Satan worshiper. What I'm saying when I say that is I'm saying that he's giving in to every satanic plow that you can think about. I mean, he stands for everything that's evil. And that's what I want everybody to understand. A lot of people worship Satan and don't actively know they're doing it. I mean, I think that's kind of an important thing to say. And I'm certainly not apologizing for saying that man is given to satanic premise.
Well, he's being used by Satan.
He's evil. Sure. Super evil.
But
super
he got
evil.
Smacked big time.
Oh, yeah. Hey, good. He deserved it.
Okay, so let's finish off golf. What's going on now?
Yeah. So the Caspian presented a real problem. And the real problem was, look, you can say whatever you want about Zelensky. There's a lot of people that really like him because I think they're kind of brainwashed. There's some that don't. I think Zelensky's evil. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think Putin's evil. I think Zelensky is way darker, way more satanically inspired than most. What Zelensky did last week was dark beyond what most people can imagine, because he picked a couple of Iranian targets and then he sent over some of his technology to target Iran, and then basically told America, I'm doing you a favor. I mean, it can't get worse than that. It can't get worse than that. Russia saw that, and Russia basically put itself in a position where it said, if you want to play this game, I'll start with NATO and I'll end with Ukraine. And I'm telling you, like, he's already been talking that way And if it were not for the wisdom of the President of the United States getting directly involved in this and beating the literal heck out of Zelensky after doing this, we'd be in World War III.
Do you remember that when he was in Washington, he got, I don't know how to say it differently, he got smacked by the president?
Oh, my goodness. He got slapped hard. He deserved it, too. He absolutely deserved it.
But what do you think? Do you think that the war is winding down? Okay, again, we're getting off topic.
I'm talking about Russia, Ukraine.
Okay, let's go.
I
Let's
think
go
it
back
has
to the Caspian.
It doesn't have any gas.
So what the Caspian Sea does is tie between Iran, Ukraine, and Russia.
Yes, in essence, what Zelensky was doing was, if Zelensky attacked an Iranian target alone and said, "Yeah, we did it. Now what?" That's one thing. But when you attack an Iranian target in the Caspian, you're talking about Russian Federation territory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Russia's backyard.
Yeah, basically Russia's backyard. And then you turn around and you say, this was on behalf of the United States and Israel in an attempt to deal with the problem of Iran? We all know what you're doing, Zelensky. You're trying to start a world war. And thank God that Bibi didn't take the bait. Thank God that the president didn't take the bait. And thank God that Putin didn't take the bait. The IRGC is mad. The IRGC is trying to send rockets down that way. Good luck. It's not going to happen. I can tell you they're pressuring Russia to fight back.
It's all about Israel. I can't help. It's all about Israel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all Israel's fault.
I mean, if you had any question about the role of Israel, smash Jewish people, smash God's chosen people, smash God's covenant with a certain group of people in the world, if you had any doubt that the Jewish people are at the core of God's plan and God's promise, look at how everything that is happening ties through Israel. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, this is just another case. It's all kind of clicking together, and Israel has become the main issue. And again, this is because, I mean, when people ask me, how do you know that Israel's God's chosen people? I said, well, look, Satan knows.
Yeah.
The bad people know.
Oh, sure.
The people with the black hats know, because they're all on the same channel. And again, just look at this. So even when the the Ukrainians hit an Iranian ship in the Caspian Sea and makes the Russians upset, it's about Israel.
But the thing is, what's so evil about what Zelensky did is Zelensky knew he was using Israel as the manipulation tool. He knew it. He knew it. Because there's already tensions between Israel and Russia. It's not like this is a small thing, especially over the change that's taken place recently in Iraq, with the United States pulling one of its major bases out of Iraq.
Okay,
I mean, like, can anybody think that through for just a second?
So here's what I'm starting to see, and when we get into the Spain-Morocco issue, we're going to see another version of this. When you get into let's see if I can do it quickly. When you talk about the elections in the United States, okay, inside the Democratic Party, it's all about Israel. If you go this way or that way. You talk about what's going on in the Republican Party. It's all about Israel. You talk about the mayor of New York. It's all about Israel. Talk about what's happening in the UK. It's all about Israel. I mean, you can't really make this up, that everything at some point kind of spins around this main axis. And what's going to happen in Israel is going to be the main, I'm going to say, turner point for everything that happens all around the rest of the world. And again, if I wasn't a believer, I'd be asking myself, why is Israel so important? What makes Israel so important? What makes the Jews so important? What makes this piece of land so important? And it all points back to God.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It all points back to God. And again,
100%.
We're talking geopolitics here. Yep. We're talking economics. We're talking all of that. But it all points to God actually meddling in what's happening, and Israel becomes I'm going to say the placeholder, or the like Paul said, the receivers of the benefits, and that becomes part of this. So let's tie it back. Turkey and Ukraine are mixing in, and Israel's become a player in that. And again, when we talk about end time prophecy and we put Turkey, Russia, and Iran in the same verse, if you want to put it that way, in the Bible, it just makes so much sense when you see how this is happening today.
Yeah, that's correct. That's not an incorrect assertion.
But what I'm trying to get people to see is that we kind of get lost in the details, and we kind of forget that above all of this is a different dynamic that actually working. And Israel's become the, I'm going to say, the get out of jail free for everybody who doesn't want to take responsibility for what's happening. Mamdani was elected because he was anti-Israel.
Yeah.
And who was it who came over here? That Democratic congressman who came over here and said, "Okay, I need to say something about Israel." Now there's somebody else who's saying, "Oh, a two-state solution should be." I mean, the Israel issue is becoming a political issue inside the United States. But look at what's happening in the Muslim world.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that there's the underlying issue of Sunni versus Shiite is still an issue that a lot of people aren't talking about, considering, thinking through. They're not really looking at. But I do think that a massive window of opportunity is being viewed by the Islamic world, and I also see them recognizing the window as potentially closing if action is not taken soon.
So the anti-Israelism or anti-Judaism, call it what you want, has been the main unifier of the Muslim world. I mean, it's been the glue that's held the Muslim world together ever since 1948.
It's been the glue that's been holding together a bunch of these leftist psychopathic Jews. I mean, look at what's. Did you see what's happened in what's that little town? Did you see the video from that little town? I'll tell you right now. It's a little Arab town.
In Israel.
In Israel. Did you see basically another video that exonerated the settlers? I don't even like to call them the settlers, the pilgrims. I'm going to call them that. But it exonerated them because so this is what happened basically. A couple of kids, Jewish kids, decided that they were going to go on a hike in this area. I think it's Nil. I don't remember. Anyway,
it was in the Jenin area.
Yeah. So they go on a little hike. After they go on the hike, okay, they while they're going on a hike, they see some Arabs that come and attack them. They start getting attacked. They're getting rocks thrown at them. They're trying to assault them. They get a hold of the IDF. They summon the IDF. The IDF comes. They come with their guns. Multiple, what are we going to call them? They're people with guns. They're part of what everybody calls the settler population.
Okay, let's back up so we understand what we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about Judea and Samaria, which are the hilly areas between the river and the sea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of people call it the West Bank. That's a whole different story, but I'm going to call it Judea and Samaria
because that's what it deserves to be called.
Because Judea and Samaria is different from regular Israel to a certain extent, because Judea and Samaria were only conquered during the 6-Day War.
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to Rishon LeZion in Modi'in, where I live, which became a part of Israel in 1948. It's a little bit of a different legal standing. Meaning the Israel has never turned Judea and Samaria into full-class Jewish statehood, and it is areas that are actually allowed. Now, Israel is saying, the Jews are saying, wait a minute, why can we live in Jaffa and Jerusalem and not live in Hebron or Shechem, which are biblical mentioned cities? This is our ancestral homeland. So Jews who live in Judea and Samaria, okay, are Israeli citizens.
The town of Tel.
Well, no, Tel is a name for a hill. There's got to be a name.
No, that's
Tel
the
something.
name. That's the name. It's a Palestinian village. The name of the village is Tel.
Tel? I don't.
Tel. That's the name of the village.
Got to check it out. But again,
I looked it up.
So the Jews that are living in Judea and Samaria, because the world does not accept that a Jew should be allowed to live in their ancestral homeland, are called settlers. And they're connected to the colonial kind of dynamic. That's where the term settlement comes from. That means Jews living in Judea and Samaria.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there are Arabs that live in Judea and Samaria. And the Arabs living in Judea and Samaria don't like the fact that Jews live in Judea and Samaria. And let's make this very clear. It's possible for Arabs to live among Jewish communities. I mean, again, there are 1 million Arabs that live inside Israel. I don't know if people know this, but more than 1 million Arabs, Muslim Arabs, live in Israel as Israeli citizens. But it's not possible for a Jew to live inside an Arab territory because they will be attacked.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So that was a little bit of a background so we kind of know where we're going.
So this is the Palestinian village of, it's spelled T-A-L, but T-A-L, but it's pronounced Tel. And it's basically, you know where Havad Gilad is?
Yeah.
It's that area right there. Nablus. That
Nablus.
area. Nablus. Yeah.
Nablus.
Yeah. I don't know why I said nebulous. Anyway, 2 Israelis were killed. 32-year-old Master Sergeant Benyahu Melet from, actually, he's from Havad Gilad, an emergency response squad, and 27-year-old IDF Major Yuval Ezra. Okay? Now, here's the story. They're making it out to be a bunch of Jewish settlers. This is how they're saying it. Jewish settlers who are armed go over there to create problems. That's not what's happening. The mistake was, it was some kids that wanted to go on a hike near that area. They go on a hike, but they didn't inform the IDF. So they go on the hike without any kind of escort, anything. They start to get attacked by a bunch of Palestinians. As they get attacked by a bunch of Palestinians, they get on their phones, they call for help, the IDF shows up, and this emergency squad, which is basically like a regiment that
it's like a militia. It's like
a militia. They protect their own.
Yeah.
They protect their own area. So the video. So prior to the video coming out, everybody says they all went in there to kill Arabs, and Arabs just died inconsequentially, and that's what happened. The video shows these innocent kids walking, then getting attacked, then the IDF showing up, then the squad showing up with them, and instead of shooting these Arabs who are trying to kill these kids with knives and stones, they're hitting them with the back of the guns because they don't want to shoot them. So finally, an Arab takes a gun out of their hand and manages to shoot
one of the Israelis.
2 of the Israelis. The one who one of the Israelis that was killed, the 27-year-old, one of the Israelis that was killed, he was shot. He managed to still pull out his handgun and stop one of those guys. And then, of course, it now is turned into this is all Jews. It's their fault. It's this, but the problem is the people that are helping this narrative to continue on, like to move forward, are Jews.
Yes. And do we want to go into the subject of the self-hating Jews?
Yeah, why not? I love Kaddis' theory, and I think Kaddis' theory is correct about this. I think that October 7th changed everything. It changed everybody. It changed everything. Kaddis told me this, and I knew this happened. For the first time in his life, he applied for a gun permit in Tel Aviv. He never ended up getting it, but he did apply for one because for the first time in his life that he can remember, he locked his front door. The kind of things that these savage animals did, they didn't just walk into these areas that were on the envelope of Gaza.
It's called terror.
Yeah, these animals walked into other cities. These people did terrible, terrible things. The only way to rationalize it, if you're a human being, is, well, maybe I did something to contribute to this. And in their minds, the Jewish mind, well, if I did something to contribute to it, then I can change that which will protect me. Instead of what's reality, and what's reality is these people hate you. They're looking for an opportunity to destroy you and will take advantage of every opportunity that they can possibly conceive.
I'm going to tie what you attributed to Gandhi, which is totally correct, and I'm going to go a little bit further, okay? We are a people that have been persecuted down through history, and there's no logic or justification
100%.
to the persecution.
I agree.
So down through history, we've had to explain to ourselves why this persecution.
It's the only way to not go crazy.
Exactly.
You have to sort of rationalize it.
The question is this. I mean, again, I don't know if you've kind of ever been in this kind of situation. Why does everybody hate me? I mean, I try to be a good person. I try to act, and I'm saying this personal because it's easy to understand it on a personal level. But think of this on a societal level. Think of this as, why do people hate the Jews? We try to be good. We do good for the world. We bring a lot. Yes, we have our problems. We have our people. We're no different from anybody else. Why do everybody hate us? And one of the ways to accept this, there's a couple of ways. I'm going to say basically there's two main ways to extend or to understand the hatred. Number one is it's biblical. It's godly. It is part of the biblical story.
Yeah.
People are going to hate God's chosen people because they're God's chosen people. Boom. But if you don't accept the biblical story, you have to give an explanation. Why does everybody hate the Jews? And the only way to explain that kind of evil, if you don't accept the biblical, is because the Jews do something wrong. And I've heard even people that I know in my family said the Jews are the problem. It doesn't make sense that everybody hates them just because they're hated. Doesn't make sense that they've been banished from 190 countries over the history. Their Jews have to have something in them that makes them the problem. That is the idea. So that's people outside. But even Jews ask themselves, why does everybody hate us? Why is everybody against us? Why does Sanchez hate us? Why do some South Africa hates us? Why does everybody hate us? And a lot of Jews have gone down the road that we are doing something wrong.
Yep.
Okay, and that is something that I need people to understand that happens on a national, I'm going to say civilizational role. You either accept that this is part of God's dynamic, or you accept that the Jews are the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you can't accept the godly explanation to this, the Jews become the problem, and even Jews who are not religious, who don't accept their role, or again, if you're a woke person and you don't believe in good and evil, you believe that everything's on a spectrum, then the hatred for the Jews is proof that the Jews are the problem.
Yeah, and that's the way they think, and it's completely wrong. And their problem is, well, let's go to the dinner table and let's sit down and break bread and have a conversation. Well, you can't go to dinner with the cannibal. Because what's the cannibal going to do? He's going to eat you. And these crazy, I think they're nuts. I think these Jews are nuts that are doing this.
Well, I'm gonna go biblical on you again and say this, okay?
And yes, I'm talking about Gadi Taub. Gadi is, for those of you that don't know, is, in my opinion, one of the most prolific commentators in Israel right now. He is incredibly smart. He was part of the left. He came to the right. And I love Gadi with my whole heart. We have a great relationship. And I think Gadi is, I just love him. I'm going to take him with me.
There's a series, well, turn him into a believer.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, one of these days I'm going to lead him to a relationship with Christ.
Well, anybody who knows anything about Israeli politics,
he's amazing.
Gadi Taub would be one of them. Einat Wilf.
Oh, yeah.
Check her out.
Yeah. She just wrote a great article, by the way, in Tablet on this issue that happened in
Spain.
In Spain.
Yeah,
very good article. Very good.
Very good. Avri Gilad is an Israeli celebrity.
Yeah.
All of these are, and David Tal, by the way, who used to be on the left.
That's true. You know who else is really good too? I really like Caroline Glick. She's very good. She's now an advisor.
Okay, you won one
Bibi
on this
Netanyahu.
side. What about Barry Weiss?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, again, on the left, she actually worked for...
Did you see the joke that the president made about her?
No.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Barry Weiss, just a quick explanation. She used to work for...
I'm gonna find that video.
New York Times. and then she left New York Times and became the chief editor of the Free Press, which is, by the way, very, very good if you want to get some information that comes down the right way. But again, we all thought that there has to be some kind of reasoning.
She took over CBS too. I mean,
now she's taking over
now,
CBS. Well, we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to find the video that the president did on her.
Okay, but
at the
all
correspondence dinner.
But I want to tie what I'm trying to get to here,
Yeah.
and let's remind everybody. I don't know if you remember when when Moses comes off the mountain with the most amazing idea, changes the world, literally with the tablets in his hand. I mean, the 10 Commandments in his hand after being up in the mountain, by the way. And he comes down, and what does he find the Jews doing? Dancing around the golden calf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we are a Balagan people, have always been a Balagan people. And I can't help but say this. I am not surprised that I have people that are stupid in my people and my people group.
Yeah, stupid is a great word. It's really a great word because you have to be stupid. But speaking of Barry, just a little bit of levity, just a little bit of humor. This is the president at this is the president at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. By the way, I want to make this statement about the Correspondents' Dinner. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the president on many occasions was just stupid funny. He was funny, but nobody was laughing at him. So he just decided to just mow everybody down. That's exactly what he did. And it sounded like one of his regular monologues. Listen to what he says about Barry Weiss. Oh, my goodness. Okay, listen to this. This is hilarious. Okay.
While I have all of the press here in one place, I have to say that we're having an amazing load of accomplishments that the media never talks about. For example, under my administration, a once feared and powerful regime that relentlessly attacked America has finally been toppled. Their former leaders have been removed, and they're now being run by a gay dictator facing internal divisions. But I, for one, wish Barry Weiss all the best at CBS News.
But for those of you that don't know, Barry Weiss is a lesbian. Okay,
By the way, there's a whole load of gay people who have come out very much on the right. I mean, one of the classic examples that I would put would be Douglas Murray.
Was Doug Murray?
Douglas is gay.
Is he really gay?
Douglas Murray is totally gay.
Really, he's gay?
Dave Rubin, totally gay.
Dave Rubin, I knew that.
But Douglas Murray is totally gay. And they have become some of the most outspoken, articulate kind of supporters of the right. Barry Weiss is another good example of that. I don't know why and how that happens. Maybe it's because they okay, and maybe this is an interesting dynamic. Tell me what you think about this. The reason that Jews that are anti-Israel get exposure, it's because their opinion kind of weighs more because they're Jewish. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when somebody from the left...
Douglas Murray is gay.
Yes.
I did not know that, man. I had no idea.
He actually came out on Piers Morgan when somebody said, "Oh, you're anti-LGBTQ." And Douglas said, "You're an idiot if you did not know that I've been gay for whatever."
Wow, man. A guy as level-headed as him is gay. Wow, that's crazy.
So what I'm trying to say is Jews who come out against Israel, they become more, their opinion becomes heavier because they are like Jews. I'm saying this because I'm a Jew. Jew haters have become very heavy. And here's the thing. I mean, even people like Golan, what's his name? Amir Golan, who is the head of the Democratic Party in Israel, who came out and says that the Israel IDF needs to stop killing babies. I don't know if you heard that.
Oh, yeah. I remember when that happened.
Okay, and that gets repeated all over the world because he's Jewish. Not only is he Jewish, he was in the army. He was the deputy chief of staff in the army, and he's doing this because he's playing in the elections he wants to consolidate the Arab vote in Israel, which might be the, how do you say, the counterbalance to everything that's happening in the right.
Well, it's the one thing that's gonna put in. It's gonna make a coalition even harder than most people think.
So when people stand up and say, "Oh, my parents were Holocaust survivors, that's why my opinion means more," or Orthodox Jews in New York are saying we're against the state of Israel, and our haters give them the platform because they seem to be more opinionated or more weightful than regular Jews. Again, this is part of the story that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's blatant. It's just psychotic. I mean, I just think I'm still shocked over Douglas Murray. I cannot believe it. I wonder if my sister knows that Douglas Murray is gay.
Well, the guy's brilliant.
I mean, I know he is, but that's very surprising to me.
Well, I'm surprised. I thought it was common knowledge.
Man, I didn't know that.
All right. Let's go Spain and Morocco, please. Let's go into it a little bit deeper.
Okay, so I'll let you start. It's wild.
Okay. Let's start off at the beginning. Do you know that Spain, by definition, has always been anti-Semitic? And
in many ways, I'm doing that. Sorry, I'm doing that to go look at something that just went.
And one of the things I want to stress about that is the fact that when Columbus sailed the ocean blue, is the way I kind of in
1492, Columbus was a Jew, and he was basically kicked out of Spain, in essence.
But the same year, Isabel and Ferdinand kicked all the Jews out of, expelled all the Jews out of Spain.
Yep.
A little bit later, they expelled all the Jews out of Portugal. And what it's called, I mean, think about this. They gave, I think, a month to all the Jewish people to pack up their belongings and leave. A very vibrant, very large, very popular, very strong Jewish presence in Spain got kicked out of Spain and got spread all over the Middle East. That's why half of the Jews in Israel are called Sephardic Jews, which basically means Spanish Jews, because the Jews in Morocco and the Jews in Iraq and a lot of the Jews in that Egypt made their way to Israel after 1948 came originally from Spain. And what I'm trying to say is Spain has always been very anti-Jewish. By the way, a quick note, okay? The most anti-Semitic part of Italy is the southern part of Italy called, what's the boot? The part of the boot? The peninsula. Again, we're losing our words right here.
My brain
Sorry,
is,
guys.
My brain
Our
is
brains
fried.
are fried. Okay. Areas that were under Muslim control, Sicily. Okay, areas that were under Muslim control for many years, even when they came back under Christian control. Spain is a good example. Sardinia is a good example. Sicily is a good example. I don't know if you know that Sicily was under Ottoman control for many years. They end up anti-Jewish. More anti-Jewish than other places. So what I'm trying to say is that Spain has always been anti-Jewish, and this regime in Spain has been especially anti-Israel. And the president of Spain has been outspoken against Israel, calling it what happened in Gaza as a genocide, and we in Spain will not support it. We will not allow anything. We will not use goods from Israel, though they bought Israeli weapons. I don't know if you know that. And has been very, very outspoken against the Israeli occupation in Judea and Samaria. Very outspoken against Israel retaliating against the attack on the 7th of October in such a way, and very outspoken against Israel. And then this event happens. Now, this event is basically Moroccans from Muslim countries. And again, this is Muslims fleeing Muslim countries in order to move into Christian countries, crossed over the border into Spanish enclaves, Spanish occupied territory in Morocco, meaning there's a little enclave of a city, Cerilla, I think is what we call it, of 85,000 people that is basically Spanish territory in Morocco. Very similar, let's say, to Puerto Rico.
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
it would be very similar to what Puerto Rico is. Very similar, by the way, to Guantanamo. I don't know if you know
Would
about.
Guantanamo be more of a parallel to what's like? I mean, Guantanamo's more military installation.
Yeah, but it's American property. It's
yeah,
American
yeah,
territory.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're.
It
I
is
guess that's
American
a fair,
territory in Cuba.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a fair parallel.
But it is occupied territory. So Spain, this outspoken anti-occupation, is occupying
They're occupiers.
They're exactly.
Yep.
Same as Turkey is occupiers. So when these 60,000 migrants cross over the border, they cross over the border because somebody in the Spanish High Court says that if somebody climbs over a fence to get into Spanish territory, you can put him on a truck and send him back. But if he doesn't cross over a fence, if he swims across the border, he can request asylum. And the minute they said that, 60,000 young Muslim men, because you need to be able to swim something like 4 or 5 miles, swam across and around the borders into the Spanish enclave. And it freaked everybody else because it freaked out the whole European Union. Because if somebody is in Spain as part of the European Union, they have free access to Italy, France, England, and any other country in the European Union. That's the whole idea of the European Union, was this agreement that once you're part of the European Union, you're part of all of the European Union.
Right.
Meaning these migrants who slipped across the border into Spain, okay, are allowed European, citizenship or residence. That's why they did it, and everybody else freaked out because they said, we don't want all of these migrants to be allowed into the rest of Europe. And Spain said, this is us with the problem. And here's the thing. Somebody in Israel said, look at you hypocrites. You're saying occupation. You're saying holding up. You're saying we will use the military to turn back these migrants. Look at this. And in the end, what's happening is Spain is doing something that they accused Israel of. So when Israel kind of says this is the issue, then somebody switches this. And again, I find it fascinating, including people I know who say Israel orchestrated all of this.
Yeah, but Spain is especially evil. What they're doing right now for multiple reasons.
Well, do you know that President Trump was really upset with Spain
for
not?
I'm glad.
Again, they're part of NATO.
We don't even trade with Spain anymore.
They're part of NATO.
Yep.
And they didn't allow the use of American bases in Spain to move resources towards the Gulf for what is happening with Iran.
Well, and then let's be real about this. The leader of Spain has made a disaster of the country. It was his actions that destroyed the country, or that continues to destroy the country. Yet now he's blaming people like the Jews and America for his mess.
Again, it's all about the Jews.
It's ridiculous.
But here's the thing. I mean, how did Israel get pulled into an issue that's happening between Morocco and Spain? And the reason is this, because Morocco has been on the side of Israel, has joined the Abrahamic Accords. Okay? Spain is on the side of anti-Israel. So if something bad happens to Spain, it has to be all about the Jews.
Yep.
And I saw a meme of a ship offloading a ship shaped like Benjamin Netanyahu, who opened his mouth and spewed out all these refugees onto the beaches of the Spanish enclave in the Mediterranean Sea.
Stupid.
It is, again, all about
dumb.
the Jews. And my problem is not that there's somebody that comes up with this idea. My problem is that rational, Bible-reading Christians
evil
buy into it.
Yeah, how they even believe it. I just watched this 30 seconds of this video of Sean Ryan, which, by the way, has become a complete joke. He's terrible. He's just terrible. I watched a video of him having a conversation with a pastor. I don't even remember the pastor's name, who's basically anti-Israel.
Well,
it's crazy.
There's quite a few of them now.
I just can't deal with it.
So okay, but here's my problem. Okay, again, every society comes up with a different version of the anti-Israelism. And I heard somebody say very, very clearly, somebody decides what's important to a society. And when you decide this is important to a society, then the Jews are the opposite of that. By the way, Israel, the Jews, it's interchangeable today in a complete way, and that's a whole different discussion. So when
most
religion,
people don't know the difference between an Israeli and a Jew. They wouldn't be able to create the distinction.
so when religion and Catholicism was critical, the Jews are the problem. They get kicked out. When ideology is an issue, okay. When capitalism is what's important, then the Jews are the communists. When communism is important, then the Jews are the capitalists. I mean, you can't really. When science is important, the Jews are a problem scientifically. I mean, the Germans were measuring noses. I mean, to give an indication of
It's
this.
so evil.
So a culture uses the Jews in order to push against. That is what a role that God has given us down through the ages, and we just now saw that play out again in the whole Spanish-Moroccan thing. What do we have to do with Morocco?
Yeah.
What do we have to do with Spain? What do we have to do with enclaves? But when the hypocrisy is pointed out, it's the Jews that are doing this and not anybody else. Again, crazy.
It's evil, and it's dark, and we just like. I watched the debate, and let me tell you something. I've always appreciated and I've loved Dinesh D'Souza. I think he's great.
Yes.
I think he's really great.
Don't ruin him for me.
No. But I watched a debate where he got into a debate with somebody, and that person just creamed him. That person just ran him into the ground because Dinesh was arguing the wrong point. And the debate was, is it a moral obligation for Christians to support Israel?
Interesting.
It's a good question.
And then what did Dinesh say?
Dinesh said yes, but he was arguing from the benefits to the United States of America rather than arguing from the biblical obligation that's set forth.
But the two come together.
No, but the problem is he wasn't even thinking about talking about that. Because the argument that the debater is saying is that, well, they've been evil. They're the people that crucified Jesus. They continue to do evil things today. Look at the secular humanist crowd amongst Israel. Israel promotes pornography. Israel does, because, in Israel, you can buy and watch pornography. There's a massive abortion, a lot of abortions happening in Israel right now. There's a lot of wicked things happening.
Wait a minute. What's the
But that
difference
doesn't
between
mean-
Israel and Italy as far as that's concerned?
Well, that's my point. My point is what makes Israel distinguishably important to support morally is that unlike any other country, God says, they're my people. And God even said they would have hardened hearts in the last days. And God said it would be for him to deal with them on. That God is going to judge his people the way he sees fit. In the meantime, it's our obligation to support them. Do you have to support everything that goes on in the government? No. I think there's a whole bunch of corruption in the Israeli government. I mean, think about all the stuff that we talk against all the time. Their idiot JAG attorney. Think of the attorney general, the deep state, the leaders of the Shin Bet. I mean, there's so many things we could talk about that are just corrupt. There's been so many corrupt things happening that I would totally speak against and do speak against. But do I love the Jewish people? Yes. Do I support the existence of the state of Israel? Darn straight I do.
Do I believe I have a right to
self-determination?
No. Do I believe that we have a right to hurt the Jewish people because of who they are and what
No
they
way. It's satanic.
And here's the thing. I'm gonna bring an illustration that I've been using lately when I'm talking to people about this. Okay. Again, you've heard me make the relevance to the GKs, the God's kids.
Can you take care of that down there too? Thanks, brother.
Here comes the coffee. God's kids. Just like PKs are the pastor's kids, okay, preacher's kids, the GKs are the God kids. That doesn't mean we do everything right. That doesn't mean that we do everything correctly, but we are still God's kids.
Yep. Amen.
Thing is, but God's got a role to teach us and discipline us.
Yes, that's right.
But think about this. I mean, you've raised kids, and you have children in your house, and they do something wrong because they're kids and they're sinful just like anybody else. Or
No, my
some of
kids
them
are perfect.
Oh yeah, yours are. All right.
In whose
Okay,
dream?
But here's the thing. Let's say you decide to discipline them, and you do whatever you need to discipline them, and they don't like it, and they feel that it's not right, and they complain about that, and whatever and so ever. Okay, that is your role, but they're still your kids. Now imagine somebody opening the front door of your house, walking in and smacking your kid for doing something that he thinks is wrong.
They're not walking out of my house.
There you go. But you get the idea.
Right.
I mean, I'm allowed to discipline my children because they are my children. That's my responsibility to discipline them. But God forbid if anybody touches my children, they will have to deal with me. That is what I believe is happening. It's God's job and God's role to discipline us. And believe me, we have been heavily disciplined. No other people as a people have been as disciplined as the Jewish people have been down through the ages.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give anybody else the right to discipline God's chosen people. And that is what a lot of people don't really realize. And I think this is what's happening.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just wild. I mean, the whole premise behind it is just dark, bro. The premise behind it is dark.
Definitely.
The moral obligation sits there because they're God's ancestrally chosen people. There's no way around it. If they're God's ancestrally chosen people, it's the same reasoning that David had when he said, I'm not touching God's anointed. It's the same thing. They have the right to self-determination. But I don't think it's just like any other nation. I think it's especially them over other nations because of God's declaration.
But
they have access to God in a way that nobody else does in one sense.
And here's another thing. Does that mean we do everything right?
No.
No. But I will tell you this. We are the most moral army in the world. I know what my rules of engagement are. I have sent soldiers to military prison for slapping. I'm not shooting, not kicking, for slapping.
What country puts their soldiers in military prison for slapping somebody?
For slapping the enemy. By the way, let me make this clear. Again, this is who we are. This is what we are. Are there not events where bad people do bad things? Yes. But here's the thing. I don't have a problem with people holding Israel accountable for what they do wrong. But when you hold Israel accountable in the way that you don't hold yourself accountable or you don't hold other countries accountable, then it passes over from normal to abnormal, from regular to spiritual. So if you're going to criticize Israel for 1, 2, or 3, okay, you have to at least criticize other people who say the same. And if you're not going to criticize other, that means you're singling out Israel, just like the United Nations has done. Does that mean we don't do things wrong? No. But if you single out Israel for 140 condemnations in the United Nations, and no other nation gets condemned for the same things, okay, then you are actually singling out Israel. That singling out, the criticism is not the problem. The singling out is part of the problem.
Yeah, and I think the bigger issue here, and it's deeply consequential. We'll go back to that whole debate. I mean, that guy debating Dinesh was smart. He was not a dummy.
What did he say?
He was super, super smart. His arguments were well put. But the one thing that he kept going back to is he says, we keep going back and forth, but you still have not demonstrated why Christians are morally obligated to support Israel.
Because Paul said it.
And he's right. He hasn't. He didn't demonstrate it.
But Paul said it.
Bro, the Bible says it's a general biblical precedent. But Dinesh didn't do that. He even referred to the Bible prophecy guys, the guys that want to, the guys that believe a temple will be built or whatever, as kind of cuckoo. And that's the world that he's catering to right now with this book.
Okay.
So I think that there's like spiritual blindness. Why? Because Dinesh is smart.
Yeah, he is.
He's no idiot. He's super, super smart.
Okay.
I don't know, bro.
Do we want to go somewhere down on this one more, or can I bring up a subject that's completely off track?
Let's
that is
do it.
completely different.
We've beat down a bunch of topics. Let's do it.
What do you think about the WNBA? I couldn't help it,
bro.
What do you think is happening there?
Look. I'm gonna make myself clear. Okay, if an organization is not sustainable to bring money in to its existence, put it out of its misery.
I'm not even talking just about the money. I mean, have you followed the whole thing with Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham lately?
No, what's the story on her?
So let's do a quick. Okay, we all know the WNBA.
She's the jealous one, right?
No, these are the one everybody's jealous of. I mean,
yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
And we all know that the WNBA has not been economically relevant, but it has been on the forefront of the feminist activism that says, oh, women athletes should be paid the same, even though they don't generate the same revenue. Okay, but basically, the WNBA has been traditionally mostly like the NBA, black women.
Yep.
Okay. And a lot of them are part of the LGBT whatever.
Yeah, lesbians.
And I don't know if you
Angry
remember the whole
lesbians,
story about Griner, who was a WNBA player that got caught by the Russians bringing forbidden substances into Russia. And she was arrested and put in a Russian prison. And the United States of America had to give up a very bad arms dealer for her to get out. But it turns out that she was in a Russian men's prison because she is a man. Okay, who calls herself. So anyway, long story short, along comes a young lady named Caitlin Clark who is not black and not part of the LGBT community, and actually comes from a Christian background, and actually comes from Idaho, and she's an amazing player. She's the star of the WNBA, and it's choking them. It's stuck in their throat, and she's getting beaten on the courts.
Because the angry lesbians are...
Exactly, are jealous and don't like the idea. Okay, so let's make it more complex. Okay, on the team is a beautiful blonde basketball player named Sophie Cunningham, who's decided that it's not fair what they're doing to Caitlin Clark, and she becomes the protector, and she's been standing up for Caitlin Clark on the court.
So she's beating women on the court?
Yeah, so when somebody does some very bad fouls, she does some very bad, and she's gotten this kind of how do you say, role of the enforcer.
So now people are watching the WNBA to watch a cat fight?
Exactly. And again, this is very interesting between both of her and Caitlin Clark are white. And there's a lot of that in the mixture here.
Crazy.
Let me make it even more complicated. Sophie Cunningham came out the other day and said she doesn't believe that male players should play in women's basketball.
Oh man.
And now the whole league is kind of exploding on this.
Good.
Exactly. And what I'm trying to say is, again, I'm not a great lover of women's basketball, but just watching this happen, it seems like, I don't know if the whole Leah Thomas thing, if you remember what was going on, okay? This seems like the last place where the whole trans issue is being fought out. And amazingly, we're seeing another of these arguments where it makes sense that the WNBA should have W women people in the WNBA.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And okay, so a couple of days ago, two girls held up signs that says, "We support you, Sophie," and the owner, the lesbian owner of one of the basketball teams, actually cursed her live on TV.
Wow.
So this has now become the flashpoint. So if you guys are following this, it's really interesting, and check it out. But this has become the flashpoint about women athletes and men athletes and how to kind of define them. And we're seeing another kind of absurd battle. I mean, if you just heard what was going on, it's absurd that this is where that battle is being fought. And here's my problem. I'm not hearing it being fought in the churches.
No, come on, bro. The churches are weak. It's sad. No one. It's very heartbreaking, actually.
I've not heard any Christian people giving. I mean, the trans people are very outspoken about this. The trans supporters are very outspoken about this.
Of course.
The other side is very outspoken. Where is the silent majority? Why is the silent majority being silent? And this is part of what we're trying to kind of connect. So anyway, that was just rundown. If you have any connection, this is the new issue. I think President Trump actually weighed into it a little while ago about that and kind of.
Yeah, I mean, President Trump is very interested in sports and all that stuff. And that, see what Nicole's trying to do to me? Look at that. I can never show you guys this picture, but it's a picture of my 3-year-old holding my newborn.
So, just a quick reminder, this is a brand new daddy right over here.
Yeah, my 4th child was born a couple weeks ago. My 4th adopted child, so we're very blessed. Super blessed.
Are you blessed
baby
but
girl.
sleeping or blessed but not sleeping?
You know, it doesn't affect me sleeping-wise because my sleep patterns are so terrible anyway that I'm really not affected by it. And Nicole does such a good job of caring for the baby.
So, I'm out of subjects. You got anything else you want to hit here?
I think we did a pretty good job. I mean,
we did.
What I will do is I want to take some questions for anybody that has any questions. While we do that, I'm going to go to the super chats, and I'll read some of that because I know we have some that came in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let me just do that really, really quickly. And we've got quite a few actually that came in. Let me say, actually, no, we only have 2 that came in, not quite a few. Sorry. But that's okay. I'll read them. I was looking at the old super chats. So let me read this here. Brad Run. Hopefully you're not going to get us in trouble. Here we go. Question, Brother James. Based on recent immigration activity in Spain, has the Spanish government consulted former border czar Kamala Harris?
What's happening with her?
I don't know. She's another devil. But that's kind of funny that Brad would say that. And okay, Brad, another one. Thank you, brother. You say, update on the talking Dr. Fauci dolls. They have been recalled. They are able to plead the 5th Amendment, but afterward, they try to kill your family. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fauci is a scumbag.
Oh, did you?
He's a complete animal. He's a savage animal. He's responsibility for so many people dying. He's a terrible, terrible human being.
He took the 5th, I think, 145 times or something
He
like
did
that.
not answer any question that they gave him other than, I plead the 5th, I plead the 5th, I plead the 5th. Anthony Fauci's a pile of garbage. He's a terrible human being. But it's okay. God's going to judge him. I think the hell he's going to burn in is going to be super hot.
Here's a question came up here.
Yep.
Okay. Why don't women pretending to be men play on men's sports, especially in hockey and boxing?
That'd be fun.
Why does it only go
It'd be good, like a woman pretend to be a man and then jump in on a heavyweight class boxing match. That'd be kind of fun, actually. It'd be fun to watch.
They have tried to bring men into women.
Oh, did you see that, bro? Did you see that last year when that coward called himself a woman and then went into the boxing ring and just pretty much knocked out every girl on the first hit?
No, I'm talking about something else. Beauty pageants. Now we're seeing trans people kind of playing a role. They're trying to mix up, and I think, who was it who said in the Bible that in end times they're going to mix up men from women and women from men?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, look, everything that we're seeing right now is exactly the result of all of that. It's just completely crazy. All of it's crazy. All of it's nuts.
And it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
And here's part of what I'm saying. The hatred of the Jews is going to get worse. The mixing up of the genders is going to get worse. The anti-family is going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They're going to try to indoctrinate your kids, take your kids, steal your kids. We added our baby to our health insurance, and then we got this notice that says, once the baby is 12, you'll have no say in their health coverage. Like, over my dead body.
12?
Are you nuts?
12?
Yeah, you're nuts. They're just nuts. Last Chance 2030. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. God bless you both. By the way, I plead the second. For the Second Amendment of the Constitution, guns. Yeah. I love that. That is hilarious. Very original. I love that. Oh my goodness. It's crazy.
So I'm heading back to the beach.
That's right. You're enjoying vacation with the family.
Yeah. Whole family's actually on the beach right now waiting for us to join them.
Yeah, that's so lovely. That's nice. All right. Well, you want to close in prayer for us, brother? Let's do it.
Avinu Shebashamayim, we praise you and bless you and thank you for everything that's gone on. Thank you for being able to sit here and spread your word and explain what's going on. Thank you for keeping your promises to the Jewish people and proving that you will keep your promises to us. We just want to say we're so humbled that everything is going according to your plan. We want to thank you for Pastor James. We want to pray for all the kids. I mean, all the kids and Pastor James and the youngest one kind of being added to that. You will bless them all and put your hand and put your protection over them all. Just like you bless us all and you put your hand, your protection over each and every one of us. We pray for our leadership on this week that they will step up and do your will in the correct manner and have the wisdom, the ability, and the capability to do that. And we pray for the people in Israel who are going through all of this on the ground, that they will understand who the real Prince of Peace is and accept that. In the name of the greatest Jew who ever lived, we just want to say thank you. In the name of your son, Yeshua. Amen.
Amen. And Jada, while we were praying, thank you for your unbelievable generosity. That is very, very kind of you. You're unbelievable. Thank you so much. You're a huge blessing. We love you guys. There's a lot happening right now.
Yep. Okay, stay tuned. Stay tuned. I mean, really, it's touch and go right now.
Yeah, there's a lot taking place. So, all right, we love you guys. Keep fighting the good fight.